Hi, everybody. I'm here today with Dan Vaudry. Dan is the division manager of our two-step division, G.W. Murphy Wholesale. And I'm meeting with Dan, and we're recording this to talk about one of our G.R.I.T.T.Y values, trustworthy. So that's one of the T's in that word, acronym. And before we get started, Dan, I just wanted to read from our handout, which we talk about our different values for trustworthy. So trustworthy. We are trustworthy. We expect our entire team to be honest and follow through with both our words and work. Our standard is to act reliably and to trust each other along the way. So, Dan, you were part of the ad hoc team that we put together. I had asked you, I thought that you exhibited many of these values very well, and trustworthy was one of them. And so you participated in the ad hoc group in which we kind of vetted these out and to see if these were the right values and if they really represented what we want to be as a company when we're operating at our best. But to get to the trustworthy thing, can you just speak to what trustworthy means to you in general?
Well, and it's great to have a chance to talk about this with you, Gary. And I think that to me, I just start with the word trustworthy, and you have to be worthy of trust. Mm-hmm. And to be worthy of trust, you have to do those things like you say. What you say and what you do, like those things have to align. And it's it's a character quality, as many of these words are, or that go to the acronym here. But the real big thing to me is I've always been taught that there's two main ingredients to trust, and it's consistent truth-telling and time. Okay. And I think it's one of the reasons why perhaps you asked me to be part of it is we spent so much time before I came to work here with a concerted effort of just truth-telling and time together kind of as accountability partners and just working through that after meeting through the Barnabas Project at church. And it was one of those things that's like, we are going to ask each other hard questions and we're going to answer them truthfully. And that intensity of intentionality led to a high level of trust being built right away. And so it's one of those things that I've been fortunate that the trust has been so strong before I started working with you. But it's one of those things that consistent truth telling and time. And then you take that. Trust is one of the foundational principles that you have to have if you're going to build a championship team. And I know that the other T of the G.R.I.T.T.Y is, championship teams are built upon a foundation of trust. And you can't get a foundation of trust without the consistent truth-telling and time. Mm-hmm. And so it's one of those things, as I know a lot of new employees or prospective employees might be watching these videos, it's one of those things that I would just encourage people is like, you got to put in like some time. And you got to just every day keep putting deposits into that account that I can be trusted. And the people that do that, I know Bob Marshall, Bill Wallen, those guys have been with the company 40 plus years. And the level of trust, and those guys moved up the ranks from, Noah, there's Terry Wilkins, like those guys I work with every day, like they moved up the ranks because they were worthy of trust. They showed up and they exceeded expectations. And by doing that, there's no limit to the opportunities that a person could find for themselves working within the family of businesses that you have.
That's really good stuff, Dan. As you're saying that, I was thinking of, it sounds like you're saying with the time, trust is earned and grown, but the other side to that is trust can also be lost. Can you just speak to your personal experience with, you don't really need to provide specific examples, right, but how trust is earned or how it grows, and then how it can be lost as well?
I think sometimes people confuse trust and respect. Right. Respect is given. The golden rule, like, doing to others, the respect, like you treat people the way you want to be treated. You don't have to trust people the way you want to be trusted, because trust, as you said, is earned. It is a privilege to be trusted by another individual. And it only takes, the comparison of how many, positive truths you have to tell to counter one negative. It's like trust is lost in an instant. And it's one of those things that you can regain trust, but it takes consistent truth telling and time. And the amount of time, the more significant the transgression is, so to speak, of breaking trust, Sometimes it's not repairable in a work relationship,
Right.
and you have to cut ties and move on. And sometimes over time, perhaps that person's welcome back to a company. And I've seen through the history of the business relationships I know of that exist within our company, I've seen some of that. I also know that the ones, like I said, I've referenced some of those guys that have been with you a long time. I think back of Pam Bach, I mean, another 30 plus year, Brian Edwards. There's so many people that have earned your trust and earned the trust of their supervisors within the company that like it's a priceless characteristic for an employee.
Well, thanks, Dan. Well, Dan, you have a high level of trust with me, and you are trustworthy, and you are trusted with a very large division of our company. So you have earned that, and thank you for speaking on that and trustworthiness, and for bringing up some very valuable and trustworthy employees that we have and that have had in the past, which we're very grateful to have in the G.W. Murphy family of businesses.
Gary, it's absolutely just a pleasure and a privilege, and I really appreciate it. And we're excited about what the future holds for this company.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Dan, and
Thank
thanks,
you, Gary.
everybody.
Thanks.